Hello and welcome. I'm Shannon and I'm with Pick and Boots and I am doing a series called 12 Days of Thrifted and Gifted Christmas. Let me take this off. Don't need those on my face. So anyway, I don't know if you can tell, but my lighting is different. I have a gentleman in here. He's installing lights. Finally in my studio. I just had the drop ceiling put in a couple weeks ago, and finally I'm getting lighting. So he took a lunch break, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to be in here for very long, so I went ahead and I started to pre-tape today's gift for a loved one. So part of this will be pre-taped, but it's fine because I also had to do a couple steps and I don't think you want to really watch me blow dry everything that I had to do today. But today is really cute. You're going to love it. Let me just recap. So, day one was creating the pie plate for a loved one. Day two was the frames for mom. Every mom loves photos. Day three was the cordial glasses for the 20 something. My daughter would absolutely love these, have drinks like that. Day four, I made those cute little sweatshirts because this is for a coworker, because you always have a coworker who's cold. And day five was my husband, or for your significant other that loves sports. Found this Big Poppy or David Ortiz at the thrift store, and I fixed it up a little bit. All of these are on a playlist on my Facebook videos, also on my YouTube. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start playing my video, and I'm going to be right here in the comments, so you can, if you have any questions, I'll be right here. Also, I think I did an introduction in this video because I wasn't sure I was going to have access to recording or not. So disregard. All right, here goes. And I'll put myself in the little window because why not? So we'll do this. Good morning and welcome to Pick and Boots. I am Shannon with Pick and Boots Vintage, and I am bringing you a 12-day series of thrifted and gifted Christmas ideas with specific people in mind. So far, we have already done the neighbor, the pie plate, and then we did mom with the picture frames, and then we did daughter, 20-something, with the etched cordial glasses, and then we did the coworker who's always cold, and then yesterday we did the husband makeover, and so today we are going to do the aunt makeover, or aunt uncle. This could be a universal gift. It could also be for neighbor too. So I don't know about you, but I always seem to find Lazy Susans in the thrift store, and they're fairly cheap. I think I paid like $3.99 for this one. Totally worth it. So what we're going to do though is we're going to make it over Christmassy. So let's get started. What I'm going to be using is, look at this one. It's giant. It's a little bigger than what I need, but this was the only one I had on hand, and I really, really like him. So, and his name is, well, it's size A1, and his specific name is called Christmas Reindeer. Now, this is by Decoupage Queen. It's been out for a few years. I do have two other ones in stock. But what we're going to do is we're going to put him on the Lazy Susan and make a Christmas Lazy Susan for our aunt. So, in order for the decoupage to pop, we need to put a layer of white paint down. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do right now. It doesn't have to be a perfect coat of white. It doesn't have complete coverage, but you want to make sure there's enough white on there that it'll brighten up your decoupage paper. I am so excited. I'm going to actually be gifting a lot of these gifts that I've been making. Except for the sweatshirt, the one that I did, I think it was day 4 for the cold coworker. I really, really like it. Plus, I've already worn it, so I'm keeping that one. All right, so I'm going to go back and forth. Seems like I have a couple of the little balls, and you know what the little balls are from? It's from when you use your brush and you go back like this, and then they dry around the edge. And then when you go to use the paint again, you dip it in and you brush against it. That takes the dried parts of the paint and puts it right on your brush. So a tip, which I should follow myself, is take the paint, pour it on a paper plate, or when you dip it in, don't drag it across the side. But that is why it's really big on chalk paint. I've seen a lot of people complain about that, but it's just because the way that they're using their paint. All right. So I'm just going to give it a once over. Ta-da! And let's give that a quick blow dry because we want to go ahead and stick our paper right on. So I'm curious. In the comments, this is day 6. Any of the ones that you've seen so far, do you think that you're going to make for a loved one? Madison, I love your humor. Of course, I would love anything like this.
Sometimes I know it's hard to remake something that I did.
Wait for you to come back up, Madison.
For my husband, I redid the frame around Big Poppy or David Ortiz. So some like those could be really specific, but you never know what you're going to find when you go to the thrift store. So that's why I try to periodically go on like a regular, like if I'm in the area, I pop in real quick. Because you could stop in on a Tuesday, and then by Tuesday afternoon, they put in exactly what you're looking for. So it doesn't hurt to go, a couple times a week. All right. So because the paper is so big, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually flip the Lazy Susan upside down, decide the placement of where it's going to go. And then I'm going to trace it, and I'm going to cut it out. I want kind of a crisp, clean edge because I want it to be perfect around the edge of my Lazy Susan. I can always mask it a little bit with the gold gilding, which I'm going to use a wax paste. But if I tore the edges, I would have to blend the paint more. Normally you don't want to tear the edges unless you're going to be blending in the edges. And I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to save some more because my paper is really big. It's almost dry. Oops. There's a little clump right there. Oh, yep, I can see it right. I should probably do that real quick. I'm going to wipe the edge. I can see it right here on where it drips. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with my edge. Whether I'm going to put some molds on the outside or just use the gold gilding, the wax paste on it. So, but I don't want to have these big drips, so I'm just going to wipe those down a little bit. I'm just getting the major clumps off. It's okay if there's the white on there because I'm going to be covering it anyway.
This is for aunt or aunt uncle. Could be for anybody, but it's going to be super cute.
A little bit section right here is wet, and then we'll move on.
The glasses are one of my favorites. Can you all hear me when I'm doing it like this? Please say yes, I can hear you, or no, I can't hear you.
Okay, so I'm going to put this to the side for a second and wipe off this paint that I made a mess with. Now, let me show you the paper again. It's pretty big. This is an A1. So you can see how big this is. But we're just going to take the reindeer face. So I'm going to lay it down here. And I want part of his neck. I won't get all of his antlers, but I do want some of them because they have those festive bells in them. So I'm going to pre-tape because I've done the work in
my life. I don't have a ring light anymore.
And look, I am going to make sure I get his neck. And I want him to be a little bit off-center. He doesn't have to be exactly centered. So we're going to go like that. Now I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm going to slowly
it's magic.
Trace around the edge. I don't want it to pick up. I don't want it to move. Oops.
Franny, I got your ring. I haven't opened it yet because I want to do a live opening of it. So I'm going to do that either today or tomorrow. I'm super excited.
With my pencil mark, we can see exactly what part of the reindeer we're going to get. So
Hi, Regine.
Cut that out.
I hope I'm not
I have
freaking
so
y'all
many
out.
pairs of
Maybe I should
scissors,
take my face
but
off the screen.
it seems like they don't cut anymore because I've used them to cut stuff I shouldn't have used them with. So I was at Home Depot the other day, and they had a set of like, oh, I think it was like 6 different sizes, brand new scissors. So I think for like, $12. So I had to buy them because I have to keep those separate from my all-purpose scissors, because sometimes I'll cut wire, I'll cut things that I'm not supposed to use scissors for, and then when I go to cut like decoupage paper, not so much. But so I'm going to try to use all of my blue-handled scissors for just papers or ribbon, because I know I've been on a live before and I've tried to cut a ribbon and it didn't happen so much because I used a pair of scissors that are ruined. All right. Probably should get my glasses on because I think I'm making a slight, there we go. I was coming off of my pencil mark and I don't want to do that because I want to keep it as clean edged as possible. I'll probably have to do some touch-ups after I get. Now I could have just glued it on the whole paper and then use my sander. But sometimes if you don't let it dry long enough, you try to sand it, you can actually tear the paper. So I just wanted to be very careful and do it this way. But you can obviously do it whichever way you want to. Okay, so now I'm just going to clean up my edges because you can see here that I've got a little bit of jaggedness and I don't want that. So I'm just going to clean those up. All right, so now when I go to put it on my Lazy Susan, oh, he looks so cute. Now look at how adorable he is. Now, if there is excess paper, I can always glue it and bend it around the sides. And the nice thing about the rice paper is, though there's a crease here, we're not going to see that by the time we put all of our glue and everything on, because the rice paper generally tends to have less wrinkles. So what I'm just going to use some regular decoupage glue. And I want to have a nice even coat. If you put too much on, it could puddle up, and that's where you get wrinkles, or it could tear because it makes the rice paper too saturated. Trust me, I know. I've done it. My hair. Generally I wear my hair up, but I just got done blowing it dry and it's not quite dry yet, so I didn't put it up. So it's kind of in my way. I might end up putting it up here shortly. All right. So now what I'm going to do is, I think that I have it all pretty well even. You always want to go back and check, because if you leave one part without any decoupage medium, it's not going to stick there. You also want to make sure you have all your edges covered. Now, one thing that I always use, which, yes, I don't have right here, so I'm going to grab it real quick, is my cellophane. A decoupage project from before, because as long as you don't get paint or glue on it, you can reuse it. All right, so I'm going to carefully make sure I put it on.
It's really weird to watch
start at the
myself
bottom, because I want to make sure that it's centered for the edges.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm going to start down here using my cellophane, and I'm just going to push out. I could have done it in sections, but it's not that big, and I've done plenty of decoupage that I didn't need to do that. I can always pick it up, and now I can just start pushing out. I'm applying firm pressure, but not too much. Just want to make sure I get the wrinkles out, bubbles out. Oopsies. And now look. Oh my goodness, how cute are you? Isn't it just adorable? Okay, so what I did notice though, as I was doing that, where I put it, I do have a little excess paper. I'm going to say the paper spread out, but no, it really didn't. I just didn't do that good of a job cutting it. So I'm going to wait till that dries to take my sander and go around it. Before I put my second coat of the decoupage medium on, I need to decide, am I going to use a flat, like a matte on the top? Do I want it to be shiny? Do I want it to be glittery? Because there are all different types of decoupage mediums that you can put on. Generally what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put the same coat on that I use underneath just to make sure it's cohesive. I don't know, it's just something I do. And then after that, you can go back and use the glossy or the glitter. You can put on as many coats as you need to. Generally, something like this that's going to have a high use, you probably want to put at least 2 coats on. So we're going to go ahead and do that real quick. We're going to put one of these coats on. Wait a minute. I'm going to decorate it first because we're short on time. What I want to do is I want to maybe make some of his features pop a little bit. But you know what? Let me stay true to what my post is. This series is quick and easy, so we're not going to get all decorative on here. I can do that off camera after we do my project. So let me just go ahead. I'm going to do this. We're going to go ahead and seal it. If I make any changes, I'll of course post it. But as you can see, I won't be able to do any decorating on the reindeer right now. Actually, for a little bit of time, because this will need to dry. So while this is drying, I am going to just quickly do the edges. I'm going to show you. Now this would be a time, if I wanted to, if I had some very, very fine glitter, I could sprinkle it right into this decoupage medium. Or even like it's like white. I forget the name of it off the top of my head. But that would be cute because that could look like snow, the little white, snow crystal glitter.
You don't have to
I don't know
wait
what it is, but
till
it's
this
very,
dries.
very fine.
I fast forward through that, just so you know.
I have the white glitter, but it's a little thicker, and it might not look as good as the fine. So, but you know what? Maybe I'll grab it, and maybe we'll just try it. All right, so while this is on here, I'm going to go ahead and grab some of that glitter. Okay, so I have the Diamond Dust by Posh Chalk, and I'm just going to sprinkle it all over. This will add a nice little shine to it. Boop. Little sparklies. Very subtle though. You'll really see it when it dries. All right. Let me clean this area up. Now what I want to do along the edges here is I want to take, I'm just going to use some gold wax paste. Most people have gold gilding, gold wax paste already in the arsenal. So let me see, grab a red brush. Good. And now I'm just going to get a good hold on it without touching the wet. And what this is doing, it's going to cover that white too. And then when this edge dries, I'll go ahead and I'm going to put a little bit up on the edge. But for right now, I'm just going to go along the sides here. Oops. It's not the easiest to hold. All right. All right. Moving along. Oops. And because the paper is still a little bit wet when I'm touching it with this, it is raising it, but I'm just pushing it back down with my finger. Now the area where I have a little bit of extra paper that I haven't cut off yet, I'm just going to go right underneath it until it's dry, and then I'll take my sander to it. Almost. Okay, just a little bit more. There we go. So now I have it along the total edge. And now we just need to wait for this to dry. So the decoupage is dry. I went ahead and I just got rid of the excess that was on the one corner. And now to elevate it just a little bit, you need to do this. This is a secret sauce that I love to do. It makes it have like this nice shimmery, not shimmery, shiny coat on top, and it'll make it water resistant, and it'll just add an extra element to it. Okay. It's called the pouring glaze. I use this on a lot of stuff. You're just going to brush it on. Nice even coat. I always put 2 coats on. This will also keep those sparklies we put on in place. Want to make sure I'm okay. Done with the pre-tape video. I am back in real life. What I want to show you is after the last layer dried. Look how pretty it is. See, it has a little bit of a sheen, not too much, just enough. But you can see the little sparklies that we added. And then with the pouring glaze on top, look how beautiful this is. Now I could absolutely leave it the way it is. Hi, Ellen. I'm sorry if I freaked you guys out a little bit. I guess I didn't realize that you could hear me when this other one was taping. I thought you could only hear me when I put my little face in the corner, but you could hear me the whole time. So hopefully I didn't, do anything too embarrassing. But anyway, so I just want to show you the last thing that I'm going to do to this. I'm going to take some wax paste, and I'm just going to just do a little bit of shimmer because I have to do shimmer. This you don't have to do because he looks absolutely perfect just like this. I mean, look at this. This is something that your aunt, a loved one, can use year-round. Bring it out every Christmas. You can actually write a little love note underneath, and it'll be there for years to come and the year you made it. So what we're going to do is
I think I'm just going to go around the edge with my finger and the wax paste. So I'm just going to go, what it's going to do is it's going to kind of, I don't know, soften the edge of where the decoupage paper meets the wax paste. And it kind of frames it in a little bit more. I use the wax paste on almost everything. I love it. Thanks, Tina. Let's see. I have 4 minutes before my electrician gets back. But I'll finish up in less time than that. All right. So this kind of cleans up the edges a little bit. So see, softens it up. Now, one other thing you can do is there is a bunch of different colors of wax pastes. So I can sit here and I can, I'm going to use this one and go in the same color greens. This just gives a little shimmer. And then I have the brighter green that I'll put where the brighter green goes. See that? And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just adds a little bit here, adds a little bit there. But see that? Ooh. And then finally, got to use my red. Okay. So I'm only going to touch on the little berries real quick. And again, these are just the wax pastes. But it just makes them stand out just a little bit more. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do some on the bird. See that? I'm sorry. I just can't do a project without my wax paste. Okay, so anyway, I want to say thank you for joining me today. Today was the Lazy Susan gift for the aunt. Or it could be for your aunt and uncle. It could be for your neighbor. But today we're doing the aunt. Thank you, Regina. Is it Regine? I do have 2 of these on my website. I linked it in here. And if you're interested in the papers, I have them. I have smaller ones. I don't have them on the website yet because I don't know how many I have of them. But he is just so cute. So join me tomorrow for day 7. Again, thank you so much for watching my videos. And if you feel inclined, please share. I appreciate that so much. Okay, you guys. Thanks, Cassidy. Let me put that up there. Super easy, super simple. All right, you guys. Take care. And, oh, Michaela. Thanks, Michaela. Thank you. I appreciate y'all.